the live replay. So you're getting your morning coffee, maybe it's the next day, maybe you're relaxing after a long day of work. I'm glad to have you on this June Flower Farm Chat Live. It's been a minute, guys. It's been a minute. Let me make sure I've got my chat going on live chat, all messages. So hopefully the picture looks good. We are on a new internet service for my Wi-Fi. So I'm hoping that you can see me. We've done several tests and all the tests have done good. So I'm hoping you can all see me. Be sure to leave me a comment. I know I've had an issue with I couldn't see any comments, which was weird. So if somebody can say hi, let me know that you're there. For those of you who maybe stumbled upon this live and we haven't met yet, my name is Jessie and I own Living on a Prayer Flower Farm. And I'm on a flower farm journey which I'm sharing on YouTube. I go over how to grow and start seeds. I go over the mistakes I've made. Lord knows I've made plenty of them. And I just love connecting with the flower farm community and talking to everybody. So if you can hear me, please give me a comment. Hopefully the comments show up. Sometimes they do, sometimes they do not. So we will see what happens. We've had a few things going on at the flower farm. You can see I've got a whole new setup. I've been spending a few days or so really transforming my room. There goes a comment. Hi MSM, glad to have you here. So you can see I've got I'm so proud of my wallpaper, my peel and stick wallpaper. This is my seed room that we are in. Good, Lisa. Thank you for joining. Let me know that you can see and hear me. I hope it's a whole lot better. Those of you who have been with me a while, you know my internet at my house has been horrendous. It's actually been a journey trying to find decent internet. It's amazing that in 2022, there's still people like me who have issues finding good internet if you live in a rural area. And that's us. So we are now using Starlink. No affiliation or support from them, but that's who we are currently using, and so far, so much better internet. But I've been doing the den that I took over as our seed room. This is where I start all my seeds, and I put up some peel and stick wallpaper on this side. I've got my beautiful teal chair cover and some plants. Look, guys, I have live plants. These are alive. They've been alive for like a whole year. Pretty happy with the fact they're still alive after a whole year. Though I did almost murder this one. It needs a lot more water than what I currently give it. But June has been crazy. The audio is great. Thank you, Lisa. I'm glad it's better than before. Hopefully it'll continue to get better. Currently we're using the RB version of Starlink. There's a waiting list for the home version. So it's going to get even better once we get to this. Hi, Kathleen. Welcome to the live. I'm glad you're with us today. But so hopefully once we get the home internet, it'll be even better. I'm glad to finally have y'all in my seed room, have a nice setup. You always watch these other YouTubers. They've got their cool setup in the background, and I'm over here normally either in my bedroom, where you can't see anything but a gray wall, or the Lincoln Parish Library. But y'all, I'm so glad June's almost over. So I've got 2 kids, for those of you who don't know, and as soon as they're out of school, it's time for doctor's appointments, it's vacation Bible school, it's swim lessons. So I've been running. I've been waking up about 4:30 to 5 a.m. every morning to get up and get ready for work, go work in the farm, do what needs to be done. I haven't been recording because it just takes too much time to do the farm, record, and do YouTube at the same time. As soon as I'm getting off work, I'm driving like an hour out of the way to take the kids where they need to go, and all that's finally over. So I can get back to the farm and the channel. I thank all of you for bearing with me. I know the videos have been sparse. I'm not good with words. But hopefully I can start revving it up a little bit know my memory is horrendous, so I've got my little cheat sheet here. So yes, I did my first florist drop off a few weeks ago. I've been very, very nervous about attempting to sell to a florist. I'm sure a lot of you deal with the imposter syndrome. I know I definitely still deal with imposter syndrome with a lot of things, especially though being a flower farmer. I really struggle with stating that I'm a flower farmer just because I'm not growing with a greenhouse. I'm not large scale. I don't have perfect flowers. And this is only year 2 of growing flowers, like ever. Actually, year 2 of growing anything. This is a huge accomplishment. So I really deal with having to tell myself, you're selling flowers. You're growing flowers and you're selling flowers. You're a flower farmer, Jessie. Start acting like it. Get that confidence up. And it's hard. It's hard saying that you're a flower farmer. Looks good. Thank you, honey. It's hard to pump yourself up when you see all these other people who have these big farms and they make it look so easy, and you're over here just struggling to make these plants live and make them look beautiful. And you think about what the florist, what they sell, and you know that your flowers aren't what they would consider to be top quality because you're not using heavy pesticides. So I was very nervous, but I did. Right before vacation Bible school one morning, I loaded up a sample of lilies, of the different lilies I had blooming, all in their bud state. Several sunflowers, once again, all in their closed state because that's what florists want. I loaded up status, some not gumfrida, still waiting on the gumfrida to come into fruition, some pincushion flower, and I think a marigold. I loaded up a bucket of samples, glads. I had 1 or 2 glad stems, and I took them and I dropped them off with one of my local florists. She was very nice. Hey, Gus. I was very nervous. Come here, Gus. You want to get in the live? Gus wants to get in the live. Say hi, everybody. So I was very nervous about, you can't be doing that, about dropping them off with a florist after reading all these horror stories of people, the florist being rude to them, scoffing that they didn't like their flowers, things like that. And I was just terrified that they were going to see my small bucket of lilies and be like, I don't like them. Even though they were in the bud state, they were all perfect. I removed anything that had bug damage, but the lady was super sweet. She was excited about being able to buy locally, possibly. We talked for a good bit about where I'm located. I explained, I am new. I'm still working out the kinks on some things. She actually said she buys status from a company and they spray paint the flowers. So she was excited that I could actually grow flowers that didn't need paint on them. And she said that they would stick them in a cooler and see how they did after a week to see if they performed like her other flowers, which, guess what? I'm not done with that. Thank you. See how that would do. And my flowers should have done better. I mean, those lilies in a cooler can last 2 to 3 weeks, honestly. They may start opening up by week 2. But they can last a really long time. And then she contacted me about it later, stayed together in an Excel sheet and emailed it to me, and nothing. So I'm thinking I really need to send a message or a call and be like, hey, just want to make sure you got my email with the price list. And see what she says. Maybe she thinks I'm priced too high. Maybe the flowers didn't perform as well as she thought they should. I don't know. I need to call her and get feedback. That is for sure. But one thing it also helped me realize is maybe I really am not ready to start selling to florists. Not due to my imposter syndrome that I suffer from, but because I'm still learning how things are going to be ready. I know for a fact that now I've got the status going, it's good. But I'm not sure how long it's going to last me. Will it be like up north where it'll last all summer? Or is it going to start dying as we heat up? And the lilies are finally starting to be done for the season. I'm really sad to see them go. Sunflowers, I'm still not consistent with my sunflowers. I've worked really hard this year to get that consistency up with the sunflowers and have them sowed often enough, succession planted enough to constantly have sunflowers. And guess where I'm at right now? I'm in a sunflower gap. I'm in a sunflower gap again. So it's things like that where I'm like, I need to be at a point where I can be confidently dependable, to where if she calls me up and says I need blah blah blah, 9 times out of 10 I can fulfill that order. And I'm not at that point yet. I'm still working out the kinks. She was very excited about the possibility of having glads, and I'm still getting glads planted in the ground. I don't know if it's too late to plant glads here in Zone 8B in Ruston, but I still have a crate full. It's sitting over there in the corner, and it is staring at me. Hundreds of glads that really need to go in the ground, but I haven't had time. And that's something else I've just been struggling with, guys, is juggling it all. Trying to figure out and prioritize what needs priority right now. So I'm not doing the market this weekend. I'm actually going to stay home. It's time to rip out all the sunflowers that are done, remove the drip tape hoses in that area, re-till it, recompost, replant. It's time to pull all the cool season flowers that are done and rip them out of those holes, like my bachelor buttons. Oh, they look so bad. Not to mention, I got some sweet peas to grow, but not many, and now that area just looks horrible. Hopefully you get them planted soon, Nicole. I don't know where you're located, but I know last year I planted them after July 4th, and they didn't even come up. They're coming up now, but they didn't even come up last year after that. I need to rip up the stock area that was there, Zone 6. Oh, you got time. I'm sure you do. You're a little bit cooler than I am. It's just a lot of stuff going on, and I realized I did not plant enough zinnias. Totally did not plant enough zinnias. My bells of Ireland that I planted, I had a few. They're kind of coming up, they're bushing, and they haven't died yet. They haven't started turning the brown like they did last year and just dying on me, which is weird. They should be dead by now. I'm very confused. I'm trying not to get my hopes up on these bells of Ireland, because last year I got my hopes up. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm growing some bells of Ireland. This is going to be the year. And then they promptly died on me. So we'll see what happens. It's a learning experience. So if you're in your first year, second or third year even, just remember there's a learning curve. It's a pretty long learning curve. It's learning not only what sells, but how to grow this stuff, and for your microclimate, how long does this stuff last? I had somebody ask me about dill. Is it a cut and come again flower? It is not a cut and come again flower, but the way the directions read on the packet for dill, it seems like you're only going to get one flower head per plant. I'm getting multiple flower heads per plant, and the dill I fall sowed is still going. It's looking pretty rough now, but it's still producing usable stems, which is very surprising to me. I didn't think it would last this long. I also learned you need to wait a little bit longer to cut it. You're waiting for the yellow part of it. If I'm cutting it too soon, it's kind of like going from a beautiful sprayed head to just, it does that. And that's why I'm cutting it too soon. but we're learning. We're learning as we grow, right? All right. So some of the markets I've been doing, and I know y'all have been telling me don't be so hard on myself with these markets, but these markets have been kind of difficult this year. I have not been selling what I thought that I had sold last year. I actually had to have a reality. I use Square software, has my point of sale system for taking my market. It does a few things for me. It keeps track of everything I'm selling. I have it itemized. I'm able to check, $20 bouquet, $20 mason jar, and it keeps count. It rolls in the taxes for me, or it can add the taxes if I want to, but I currently have it rolling in to my price. So it tells me how much I owe in taxes. Hey Sarah, thanks for making it. I have it where I can look back compared to last year, how many sales I was making, last month, June of 2021 versus this June of 2022. And I could have swore I was selling $600 to $700. I'm sorry, $700 to $800 a market last year per market. And I started to go back and look, and sure enough, I was only making about $300 to $400 a market last year. Hey Brandon, thanks for joining us. Happy Go Lucky. Oh, thank you, Happy Go Lucky. I appreciate you. But it was that reality check I needed. Going and looking and seeing, okay, last year I was making $300 to $400 a market, and now I'm averaging between $500 to $600 a market. This last market I did not record. Because once again, I'm running around like a headless chicken, y'all. And it was a very slow market. I made about $400 on this past market, which I'm starting to have to accept that maybe my ceiling is, going to be lower than that $1,000 I really wanted. But on the bright side, if I look at year to date, what I've taken from January of 2022 to June of 2022, I've made almost $5,000. Well, I've sold $5,000 worth of product. Last year, I was under $2,000 year to date from June 2021 to end of year 2021. Yes, Square is my payment system. So anything that's credit card, that's how I take it. I also use it to send invoices. And I'm also using it to experiment with online orders. So this week I told y'all I'm not going to the farmer's market because I need to take care of some business on the farm. And I'm in a sunflower gap. Yeah, the market size and all that. So it took me like 2 hours. Oh my gosh, it took me like 2 hours to figure it out. And even then I had to get Square's customer service. That is my only complaint. Square is not user friendly for online sales, in my opinion. But I was finally able to connect Order a Bouquet on my Living on a Prayer Flower Farm website where people could order flowers for pickup for Friday and Saturday. So I could still sell the flowers I had, and I was able to put an inventory. So I finally got that up. So that's what I'm using Square for, is point of sale system. And I'm starting to dabble more into online sales using that system. I used it, I don't think I told y'all this in one of the videos, but I used it for recitals. I did dance recital bouquets. I knew I would have enough lilies to do 5 dance recital bouquets. I created a link and put it on my Facebook page, and people were able to order and choose their pickup time by that link that I used through Square. So that's came in really handy. Well, Paul, thanks for joining the conversation and being here with me on the chat. Currently, I haven't sold a whole lot online. I have e-certificates available online, but those, nobody buys the certificates at all. But I've been dabbling with selling bouquets online. Because I do work a full-time job, it's hard for me to know when I'll be available for people to pick up their order, to schedule that meeting time. So I'm dabbling. So that's something that, Lisa, that's a good point. I've had one other lady who sells flowers at my market, and she is such a great gardener. Her bouquets are beautiful, but she is a completely different style from me. So as I'm doing actual bouquet arrangements with filler flowers and they look beautiful, you can just put them in a vase. She just does a bunch of flowers together. So she'll have Amy, me, however you say it, Dara, Cosmos, all just put in a bunch and sell it for like $10. At the market, she had like 3 zinnias, celosa, and some other unusual flower. I forgot what she called it, just in a straight bunch. And I think her price was $54. So we've been competing with flowers and we've talked about it. She's done with the market now. The past market I was at, that was kind of my worst market to date, she was at, and she was selling a ton of flowers, which was good for her. Floor forces. So we've talked, and we know we're both in competition for flowers, but we talk about seeds and things, and we're just two completely different vendors. So people who want to come and get a bunch of flowers and maybe they'll purchase filler elsewhere and kind of create a little something for their table, they go to her. For people who want something that's already put together, they come to me. And she was rocking it. And I mean, her stuff was beautiful. Hey Alex, welcome to the chat. And that's something I think that's very important for us flower farmers. Just because you have competition at the market doesn't mean it's always going to hurt you. You may be sharing the sales, but as long as you're different, lean on that. Lean on being different. She didn't have lilies. I had lilies. She had sunflowers, but they were just straight sunflower bunches, where I had sunflowers mixed in with zinnias and lilies. And we talked to each other. Hey, what are you growing? How did you grow that? Is this a cool flower seed? Do I need to start this? Because she's a seasoned grower. She knows what she's doing. And I got some B-roll of her stand. I cannot wait for you to see it. Her stand is so beautiful. But she doesn't sell just flowers. She sells vegetables as well. But, I take a lot of inspiration from her. And yeah, competition's a good thing. It's going to make it where you've got to do better, right? So she's pushing me to do better, to make my stand look better. I mean, honestly, her stand looks way better than mine. It's just how it is, and I've got to, I got to figure it out. I got to figure out, how do I make my stand look better? How do I make it look prettier? I know how to make it look prettier, but it's going to cost some money. And right now, I'm trying so hard not to spend more money. Everything I'm making from the farm is going right back into the farm. Guys, I was so happy I'm finally getting to write a check out of my business account to pay back towards the debt that I have on the farm. It feels good to finally do that. But also, like, that tulip order I placed is, like, staring me down like, I'm about to come due. A couple of months and I'll be due. I hope you got money for me. And I'm like, I hope I do too. I didn't plant enough zinnias. I'm kicking myself. I've got more zinnias that need to go in the ground. I've got feverfew. I'm trying mint. People say mint's crazy. Don't do mint. I'm doing mint. I got mountain mint. And that's going to go, depending on the spacing where some of the cool flowers are. We'll see what happens. Hey Bonnie, thank you. Yes, I know. Peel and stick wallpaper from Walmart, y'all. And it's just on this one wall, but it's just such a great, fun accent wall. And then I really wanted a new chair, but a new chair was like $200 for the one I wanted, so $30 chair cover it was. On the cheap. It's what we do. So, learning to deal with florists, learning to deal with competition, things like that is part of what I'm going through. Do not put it into the ground. But Nicole, if I don't put it into the ground, it's going to die. It will die. I don't know if I've showed any of you new people, but my porch of death, it's pretty bad because I don't water things in pots. Thank you, Sarah. I really am trying my best. And I do. Y'all, I aim high. I am a goal getter. I can't I get so mad at myself, and I've got to stop beating myself up. But I do. I get mad at myself if I don't reach those goals. And I like to think of how can I do things better? How can we do things better? What's more efficient? When I watch my YouTube videos about 5 times before I post them. I have other people watching them before I post them, and I edit them based on feedback. And then I watch them again after they air, and I'm like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. If I would have done that, it would have done better. I'm just constantly at myself for things. What my husband said, it literally is death right now. I have feverfew like crazy. Oh, Bonnie. Oh, it disappeared. Come back. Come back, comment. I hate how the comments don't stay up on the phone. The computer's easier, but it doesn't have a good picture. There we go. Wrong kind. I don't know, Bonnie. I don't know if it's the wrong kind or not. This is my first year trying to grow feverfew. I found out after I started it's a cool flower in my zone. Lemon balm. And it's still short. It's growing. It's starting to kind of yellow on me as well. So we'll see if it does anything. I figured if the feverfew does die, I still have plenty of seed. I'll start more seeds probably in August or September to overwinter for next year. We'll see. It's one of those things what Serena and Nicole with You Can Eat the Grass, Nicole with Flower Hill Farm, what they can grow all year long and it look beautiful, I can't do that here with some things. It's just how it is. And it's learning what I can and cannot do with that. So, we'll see. Yeah, I need to do an update on the Porch of Death. Y'all, it's so bad. I still want to buy plants though and, put it out there on the Porch of Death just so that they can die again and it'll look pretty for a little bit. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, let's see what's next on my checklist, y'all. So, on Thursday, I have a video ready to release for Thursday, my wildflower field experiment. So, in April, I started a wildflower field, attempting to plant seeds and create a photo opportunity for photographers to come out and take pictures in the flowers. Have I told y'all I have insurance yet? I finally got insurance for the farm, which, thank goodness, I finally have insurance for the farm. I still got to get a waiver made. I haven't done that yet, but we've had some people come out and take pictures in a sunflower area I created, and the pictures look so good. So Thursday is showing you me planting basil and what it looks like now. That basil bed is ginormous, and I'm loving it. And what wildflower field ended up looking like after planting it back in April. So I'm excited for y'all to see that. I'm still working on the dahlia shade experiment. I know, girl, I feel like I'm adulting. I'm adulting on this farm. I got insurance for the farm. Hopefully nobody sues me, but you never know in this day and age. Yes, I will be charging photographers. I am still working that out. My sister-in-law is a photographer, and she did a mini session that was, plant light just went out, that was 2 hours long, and we charged $20 per family. And she had, it was like $800 is what we earned. So she had a lot of families coming out, and it was great. But I did a question on Facebook on asking other photographers, hey, would you be interested in coming out to the farm for flowers? What about a fee? Blah, blah, blah. And the consensus was they didn't like the $20 per family thing. So most of them seem to be single clients. So I asked the flower farmer Facebook page, what did they think? What did they do? And a lot of them, I know. Well, so the minis were a $20 fee for the farm plus my sister-in-law's photography fee. So they were paying, I think, $90 each for the minis is what they were paying. So we had my own farm fee of 20, and then she had her photography fee, and she just wrapped it into the price. So what a lot of people do, flower farmers do via flower farm people on Facebook have said, is they charge a flat hourly rate for regular photographers and then have a special rate if you allow minis. So that's what we're thinking. Want to order some climbing roses and set up an arbor area. You know, we've got the daffodil field established. I ordered like 3,000 more daffodils to go back in the field. I'm going to order some crocus, I think is what they're called. Some purple and yellow crocus, and making that back field a photographer's paradise, and have climbing roses, special little areas on the farm. People can come out and take pictures. So I'll have a set rate, hourly rate for photographers that are doing just a client or two, and then a set rate for mini sessions is what I'm thinking. Still ironing it out. It's another way for the farm to earn money. The daffodils, guys, think about it. I don't have to keep ordering daffodils. I'll probably, who am I kidding? I'm going to keep ordering daffodils. I just love daffodils. But I don't have to. They'll come back every year. I'm probably going to invest about $300 or so in compost to put out daffodil field to keep that area good and fertile and feed those plants. But they'll multiply. And I'll just rake in some cash besides paying for my insurance. I will say finding the insurance was the hardest part. What you're looking for is a general liability insurance for your business. It was difficult. You know, I had to talk to a bunch of people. Some companies wanted to charge me $1,000 to $2,000. I'm like, I'm not planning on doing this all year. This would be just a few times a year. And this one ended up being $700 a year, so about $50 a month, which is not bad, I didn't think. Somebody is crinkling up paper. Can y'all hear that? Wade? Is that you? Oh. Somebody's getting into something. But the insurance part was really hard, especially when you don't know. I've never had to buy insurance like that before, so it was really hard to do. Yeah, random doors and stuff like that, just stuff. What about irises? Hi. So Sarah, I do have some irises. I do need to invest in some bearded irises. That would be good. They're just so expensive to get bearded irises. They're like $5. Rhizome, however you pronounce it. So I don't know if I want to do that. And if I did, I'd probably do a small section and then, you know, do it by a bench or a little stump or something or another. We could really make it look good. And with having my sister-in-law be a photographer, I would be relying heavily on her to show me, you know, what are the ideal areas for this, because for the daffodil field, she only used a certain part where the sun hit the trees just right in the evening, so you don't have that harsh sunlight on them and so on, because I'm no photographer. Ah, it was you. It was the husband making all that racket. Thought maybe the dog was getting into the trash and I was not about to get up and go deal with it. But, guys, I have missed our chats. I have missed y'all. I haven't even been on the You Can't Eat the... I can't even speak anymore. I haven't even been on the You Can't Eat the Grass chats, which has been something which they've kind of stopped for a little bit. I was so glad to pick up a little bit last night on their chat. I was out there harvesting flowers. I had some orders to put in. But I can hear myself in the background where my husband's watching this live. It's kind of weird hearing myself. Do I really sound like that? But I've missed y'all. And I've missed doing the YouTube videos. It's been a minute. It's been a little hard, but life is finally starting to balance back out where I can get back into my routine of waking up early, working on the YouTube channel, go out and harvest, redo the hair because it's frizzed out due to the humidity, go to work, get off, come back home, work on more YouTube, watch all the flower farm channels, and then relax and repeat. And before last year, I decided to end my season in August. I have so far decided, I could change my mind, but so far I've decided not to end my season in August, but to see how long I can extend my season to make the most money, which is going to be a whole nother juggling act because I'll be harvesting, but also will need to be getting seeds ready for next spring because I need to put a video together about the Cool Flowers experiment and tell you what worked, what didn't work, and what I'll be doing this fall / upcoming year. There's so many projects I want to do. Guys, I finally decided where I want to put my Limelight Hydrangeas. I'm going to order some Limelight Hydrangeas maybe next year and get like 2 rows of them planted. I finally found a place where I could put them because we are so hot, they will not survive in full sun. They need part shade, morning sun with afternoon shade where I'm located. So I finally found a spot that they will do well in, mainly because I have one that has stayed alive for going on 2-3 years now. And this fall or winter I took the snips and I snipped that thing to the ground like Sunflower Steve said to do, and it's taller than me now and it's getting ready to bloom, and I'm so excited to be able to offer my customers Limelight Hydrangea blooms. I'm growing hydrangeas. I've owned so many hydrangeas over the years, y'all, that have just died. They always die. But not this one. This one has lived. I have found the secret. Morning sun, afternoon shade, and do my best to water it. Yeah, the time difference makes a big difference, doesn't it? Let's see, it's 8 o'clock my time when she's doing it, so I should have been inside and be able to watch it last night. But y'all know we're going through a heat wave. I'm pretty sure everybody's going through a heat wave right now. Oh, does she? I didn't know that, John. And thank you for joining the chat. I'll have to go check her out. But I just lost my train of thought. Oh, the time difference. Everybody's going through a heat wave. It's supposed to be like 102 this week, and then you add the humidity. It just makes it sticky, and when you go to breathe, it's like you're breathing in just hot water, like ugh. So I'm having to get out there at 7 or 8 at night, so it's cooler when I'm harvesting these flowers. Yeah, this past weekend was just yucky, wasn't it? At the market, I was inside with fans, but the humidity just made it feel sticky. I felt sticky and gross and hot. And I'm pretty sure I looked sticky, sweaty, and gross. Okay, rub it in, Nicole. Rub it in with your 70-degree weather. As we get up to 102 and the heat index will be like 112 or something. You know, it's so funny when you grow flowers. How in the winter you're like thankful for the break. And then when like February gets here, you're like, all right, I need it to warm up. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for flowers. And then May and June gets here and you're like, I'm ready for it to cool back down. It's too hot. Oh, that reminds me, guys. I don't really do this that often, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you've watched a few of my videos and you're here in the chat, yeah, maybe a sign that you like the channel, that you like watching the videos. You may want to subscribe. Just throwing that out there. You don't have to. No pressure. Just doing the YouTube things, please, if you don't mind. So throw that out there. Upper 90s in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been in the 90s, but this will be the first week I think that we've gotten up to the hundreds. And hello, summer. My son was so sweet last night, y'all. So it was It was 9 o'clock. I was out there till 9. Last night, harvesting. It had gotten completely dark. You know, I was harvesting by moonlight. And my son came out and brought me water. He's like, Mom, it's pitch black out here. Like, well, yeah, it's kind of dark. And he said, I'm bringing you water. I figured you must be hot. It's like, yes, I am. Thank you, son. It was so sweet of him to do. And I was thankful because that water felt so good after walking around out there. He just said, I heard that. I'm bragging on you. My Celosa's kind of, I'm struggling with realizing the farm still hasn't gotten started yet. Does anybody else struggle with that? Where you feel like the farm should be further ahead than it is? Like you planted the flowers and seeds and you could swear that last year by this point you were booming with these certain flowers, but you really weren't. That's me right now with Gomphrena and Celosa and Amaranth. I'm like, I could have sworn by this time last year I had plenty of that, but when I look back, they were still small. I was still, you know, getting them up to where they needed to be. But my Amaranth, not my Amaranth, my, what is it called? Gomphrena. Yes, my Gomphrena is finally starting to have blooms on it. It's still short, still not usable yet, but I'm just waiting because if y'all looked back at my past videos last summer, Gomphrena overtakes eucalyptus, Bonnie. I have planted eucalyptus. I did eucalyptus last year, and it's a slow grower. It's too slow. I think it's going to be one of the plants, because I can actually overwinter it here, that I need to find a permanent home for before I grow again. So the farm is still expanding. It's still evolving. I'm still figuring out where I want everything. The only thing I know permanently right now is definitely the Limelight Hydrangeas when I finally get those in, and where I've got my David Austin roses right now, which I hope they're alive. They probably need water. I haven't checked on them in like a month. Kind of forgot about them. They're just over there doing their thing. I really should go check on them. Maybe I'll do that after the chat and go see if they're still alive. I hope they're still alive. It would be completely my fault if they're dead. Just when I was harvesting last night, the plants looked so bad they needed water. All the plants needed water. They were kind of my foxglove this year is not doing well. Last year, my foxglove, once again, I'm thinking by this time it was good to go, but it may not have been. But I would have sworn that it was bigger and producing. It was. I've got footage of it producing flowers by this point. And these are just kind of yellow. They're not looking too good. I think they just need more fertilizer. I think they're under fertilized. Flower sleepover at my place. Sure, I've got the sleeper sofa right here. We'll just shove all the plant-like shelves to the side. My seed room is the family den. I've got a fireplace in here. Grow shelves. Yeah, workshop sleepover. I have a rule. We do not work from 11 a.m. until 4 or 5 p.m. We don't do any work outside because it is too hot. So during the too hot times, I have been wallpapering. This took me a weekend and a week to do. And then I decided to, I guess I'll show y'all. Let's see if we can turn seed shelves to do my bookshelf, and I have to get more stuff, but you can see it's just stuff everywhere. It's a disaster right now. Put you back over here, get you settled again. So, you know I love the wallpaper. I used the Access wallpaper to put on that white bookshelf to give it a nice little and it looks so good. You can't even see my seams, where I just at that point was like, I'm not matching the pattern anymore. I'm just sticking it in there because I'm done with this. But my room is is a disaster. I've got a giant black trash bag right here. I've got buckets. I've got a bucket of dead flowers right there. I'm not sure why I have a bucket of dead flowers right there, but I do. So I've got a desk picked out that I want for back here so I can actually file my receipts and be a good business owner. I'm terrible at being a business owner right now. I know, it really is. At one point, Brampton, I had my daughter, she had to come and kind of put her arms around me while I stood in a chair to match just right. Yes, the zinnias are finally producing good, Andy. They are finally starting to get off and good. I did not plant enough of them. Mainly because, like, the 30% rule, like Serena was talking about last night when I was listening in, 30% died. Some of them are singles, a lot of them are doubles. Some of them are just doing some weird stuff. More yellow in the room. That's something to consider. So the desk that I'm wanting to get has a white top with yellow legs. But once again, I just can't afford it right now, so we're just making do. You know, there's a few things that I can see people getting divorced over easily. It's hanging wallpaper or home improvement projects and backing up the camper. Oh, the deer ate your zinnias? I didn't think deer would eat zinnias. Oh my goodness. Oh, for those of you who love the wallpaper, they'll love this vine. Found this at Hobby Lobby. Ain't it cute? It's my pillow. I can't believe the deer ate your zinnias. See, I'm going to have to go to Hobby Lobby and buy me a mustard pillow to go in this chair now. Just paint some furniture. Yeah, it's a time constraint again. So, trying very hard to refrain myself from going and buying everything. Yeah, they had to be hungry, Andy, to eat the zinnias. I don't think they really eat zinnias as much as they do the sunflowers. They love sunflowers. And y'all, the electric fence has been working perfectly. Have you ever considered entering in a country fair competition for flowers? I don't think we have anything like that. Related to flowers, can you recommend a mic that clips to your shirt and works when you film with your phone? I don't know the name of it. Thank Media. I'm going to give you a channel name. Go to Thank Media on YouTube. They have several videos on mics and what they recommend, and I bought off their recommendations. So for a mic that clips to your shirt, I normally have one, but I've got some dirt in my charging port, so the mic doesn't work well with it. The electric fence, I spent about $500 to $600 on that electric fence, Andy. I actually saved money because my dad had the solar charging thing that's normally like $300. He had that from when he used to keep cows, and he let me borrow it. So that's what I'm using to charge it, which it does work. I got shocked the other day, but it wasn't too bad. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I use a mic with my camera. Right now I'm using my phone. But my camera that I now use for videos is a Rode microphone, and I really like it. Just make sure it's plugged in and not knocked out of the jack when you're recording. I was so mad, guys. I was so mad when that happened. That darn spider. Oh, I was so mad. But yeah, $500 or $600, Andy, for that electric fence, and it's doing great. We'll see what happens. Oh, let me tell my do not disturb. 1 second. Bear with me. I'm trying to find it. There we go. That way you don't hear all the notifications going off on my phone. But $500 for the electric fence, and that's a lot of fencing, guys. We did 2 layers, 10-foot T-post or 8-foot T-post, clips, everything. And it's kept them out. We'll see what happens this winter. I think that's going to be the real test, is in the winter when there's nothing else for them to eat, if they'll try and jump it. Because right now, there's plenty for them to eat. When I was recording the wildflower field update for the video that's going to release Thursday, it's not, I edited it out, but there was a deer just running. I was like, you stay over there, away from the farm, which I really want the better fence structure. I want what Nicole has. Nicole Fire Farm has what I want. I want the cow panels and that because it looks good to me. Oh, yeah, we don't really have anything like that. There may be something at the state fair, possibly, but I don't know. You know, I do good just to keep them alive, though. I don't know if I would be able to make it at the fair. I was talking to one of the vendors at the farmer's market. Her booth looked so good with all these vegetables, and I was asking her, I was like, do you grow cantaloupe? I want cantaloupe when you have cantaloupe, because I don't grow vegetables. I am terrible at growing vegetables. I tried to grow pumpkins last year. I tried to grow pumpkins. And out of the 30 plants that I planted, I had one orange pumpkin that kind of started and then died. And then I had 3 of the giant polar bear pumpkins that actually I was able to harvest out of 30. Out of 30 plants, I had 4 pumpkins. Squash bugs are evil. They are the devil. I would like, I think, to get to a point where I grow vegetables. I want chickens again. I really miss having chickens, y'all. Oh, I miss my chickens so bad. But we have a big predator issue here with the foxes. And I would really need, you know, either a hardware cloth going like 2 feet into the ground around the coop, or some kind of slab to keep the predators out. I had a hard time with the deer. Yeah, you know, I haven't had anybody pee out my yard to see if that worked, but I did try the hair thing, and the deer left. I did one of the lives where I had the deer repellent bars come in, and it was Irish Spring soap. I paid $22 for a bag of Irish Spring soap, and that didn't work either. I had to do the electric fence. Definitely this year, the ranunculus, anemones, and tulips are all going inside the electric fence. I'm going to move the bulb bed over in that area. Yeah, for flies. Yeah, they just laugh. When will your parish fair? I wish these messages would stay up. I'm gonna have to play with these settings one day and figure out. But yeah, the deer are horrible. But the ranunculus, anemones, all of that. Have you tried the dish soap tick for squash bugs? I have not. Bye, Brampton Gardener. So my ranunculus, I grow them from the corns. I buy the dried corns from, I bought them last year from ADR Bulbs. This year, I'm buying them from Links. And I'm planting them in landscape fabric because I'm terrible at pulling weeds. I do not replant my tulip bulbs. Once the tulips are pulled, I throw away the bulb. So tulips in zone 8 are not a perennial at all. We do not get cold. I'd have to actually store them in the refrigerator to keep them. When I order tulips, I have to order them pre-chilled, or I have to leave them in the refrigerator for 12 to 18 weeks, depending on if they had a pre-chill time before they got to me. Otherwise, they will not bloom correctly. They'll bloom short, or they won't bloom at all. So tulips are very, very sensitive to getting that cold time. I also have to plant them at the right time. I learned this year that if I plant the bulbs in November, they just don't do as well. The ones I planted in January, they did amazing. I'll have to give that a try, Sarah. But yeah, I'm terrible at pulling weeds, so the ranunculus this year are going in landscape fabric. We'll see how they do. I'm a little worried about rot because landscape fabric does retain moisture. So that's my only fear about putting them in the landscape fabric. But this year the weeds took over so fast that I wasn't able to keep them. Bonnie, I've been a flower farmer for a whole 2 years this year too. You can actually watch my whole progress and my first market ever on my flower farm vlog the past 2 years. Really costly. You can add that bulb crate. Those are not for you. She's sitting here putting her nose all up in them bags. No, ma'am. But yeah, 2 years. Still learning. So ranunculus are going to go in landscape fabric this year. Anemones are going in landscape fabric this year. Ranunculus will be planted in October through November because they still do well. I just have an issue with weeding. No, that's just too much trouble for me to deal with, honestly. And another lady that I work with, she actually sells bulbs. That's something that she does, is she puts the bulbs in soil and sells the plants to people. So I don't want to be competing with her on that. Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah, Bonnie, I'm sure you'll have lots of good customers with flowers and veggies along with your eggs. Yeah. Well, I didn't start the farm 3 years ago. I started growing plants. Gosh, it has been 3 years. 3 years ago, and decided to turn it into a farm shortly after. This is my second year actively farming. I'm getting my ranunculus this year from Awnings. Last year I ordered them from ADR bulbs. They were super cheap. They were $30 for 500 from ADR bulbs, but they were super small horns. So my blooms were super small. So this year I'm spending the extra money and ordering from Awnings, who has been really good. I had some issues with ADR. I may give them a second try, but I'm not sure. They got my order wrong with a lot of things. They sent me bulbs I didn't order, and then they had bulb crates that were ordered that were labeled incorrectly. You couldn't hear? Okay, Andy, I'm ordering them from Awnings this year. Awnings America. I think my favorite part is definitely harvesting. Harvesting and putting together the bouquets, and then just the market. I love working the farmer's market. I love the community, and I love the beauty of the flowers. I'm going to grumble the entire time I'm out there, and I'm hot and sweaty. I'm like, why am I doing this? But I do love the beauty of the flowers. Hopefully it's not a fail. Be sure you don't have them too moist. They will rot and mold on you. It does. It feels really good. How do you spell Awnings? It's O-N-I-N-G-S. And I ended up having to email the company to get a representative to send me forms. I don't think they have a way to order online. But they've been great so far. They sent me all the lilies. That's who I ordered my lilies from. So now I'm ordering ranunculus, anemones, and I think that's it from them this year. And then from Ball Seed Company, I'm also ordering anemones and tulips. This will be my first year from Ball Seed Company. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping I get my tulips. I hope they don't sell out of them. I put my order in like super early. So we'll see. This will be my third attempt to grow tulips properly. I lost over half my crop this year. Alright, see you later, Nicole. It's almost time for us to go anyway because we're almost at the hour. But y'all, I've really enjoyed these chats. You know, part of this is also the YouTube channel. I love the YouTube channel community. The flower community, it's just a great community. We're positive. We are positive people. Even though we're going to complain sometimes, you know I gotta complain, we're overall positive and uplifting to each other, and I love that part. And I love talking flowers and knowing what works for you, what works for me, and seeing the different stuff that people can grow. It's pretty awesome. So thank you guys for joining me on this chat tonight, or maybe joining in the replay. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't already, and hit the subscribe button. And I will see you Thursday in the video when it goes out about Wildflower Field. It was fun. See y'all later. Bye.